back to the Pity Party Podcast. Welcome to episodio 11, or I'm sorry, I don't know what 11 is in Spanish. I should know. I took 3 years of Spanish. Oh my god. But yes, welcome back to episode 11, and I'm excited to have you guys back. I hope you guys loved the last episode because I sure did. I really did enjoy recording it, and I'm really about to enjoy recording this. I decided to create a separate channel, a separate YouTube channel from my lifestyle stuff and do a podcast channel. So if you like YouTube and you want to see me do podcasts or whatever, then make sure you check that out. The YouTube channel is Pity Party Podcast, and the handle is at Pity Party Pod in all caps. I'll make sure to put it in the description. You guys will see. I hope you guys continue to like this episode. So today we'll be talking about the question of, am I boring? Because I believe I definitely asked myself this, and I even asked other people this in high school. Cringe. Oh my god. And it's sad that we have to think that we're boring, or we just think that we're boring because our personality may not be as bright as somebody else's, or it may not be as loud as somebody else's. It's sad, to be honest. And the question of, am I boring, gets to me because it makes me think of younger JoJo, and it makes me just want to hug her tight and be like, it's okay, and you are not boring. And stop asking other people that, because you don't need validation from anybody else. It is, am I boring? Short answer is no. So yes, I personally think that the question of, am I boring, is complete bullshit. Because to be honest, it's sad that we just have to think that we're boring since other people can't see like what we see in ourselves. You are a normal human being. Just because somebody's life may be more lavish or more extravagant than yours doesn't mean that you're boring. And it actually, I can't say it took me a while. Well, it took me quite a while to think that, like, it's not normal what celebrities are doing or what other people are doing when they, like, have all of this money to just, put towards different things. Like, because it's not normal to put, like, a huge amount of money towards something such as, like, events or trips and vacations, because it's totally normal to be you. Like, you don't have to always be doing something in order to be considered boring. I'm totally fine with reading books all day, sitting in my bed. Going to sleep at like 9 o'clock, or getting in the bed by 9 to 10 o'clock, and just living my days like that. And it may seem boring to other people, you're right. And sometimes I do think of myself as boring, especially sometimes I think, like, if I upload a blog or something, like, maybe people don't find this very exciting. Like, other people have blogs where they're going to, like, different trips, such as Miami, Los Angeles, Tokyo, like, all those different nice, beautiful places, and then you're, stuck in your hometown. But I promise you, somebody else relates to you in regards to your supposed boringness. And it definitely took me a while to just be like, I'm literally just an average person, average Joe. Did you guys get that? JoJo, average Joe. But I'm literally just an average Joe, and it's totally fine to be an average Joe, because you don't have to always be doing anything. It's better to just work on yourself while doing these mundane things. So no, you're not boring. You are not boring. And if anybody else thinks that you're boring, then cut them off. We're done. Cut them off. Where did this question even come from? And sometimes I think, like, I want to, like, dig deep into Google search and see who's the first person to just question if they were boring or not. Because who are you around that makes you think that you need to question whether or not you're boring, or whether your personality is boring or something like that? Because even the most extroverted people are putting up an act. Most, I can say all of them are, but like there are some people who just put up an act of being extroverted, like this is supposed extroverted person, and they're not. And realistically, let's say realistically, when I'm with like a group of people, and you know, I need to get to know them better, I feel like I talk a lot because it's uncomfortable meeting new people to me. But then once I get comfortable, of course, I still talk a lot, but not as much as I would have. Just initiating conversations, just thinking that you're boring, and you're putting on a front of trying to become that extroverted person because you think that not being boring is just such a huge thing. It is okay to be boring if you think you are boring. You don't have to change a thing just because you just think that other people want to see more of you, or you want to showcase more of your personality before other people run away, you know? Like you want to get that chance to throw in that dash of personality before somebody else just skedaddles. And I can see like why people would do that, but you literally do not have to put up a front, because I promise you, those people who are willing to know who you are and, you know, experience more with you, then they are willing to stay and figure out, like, you know, what's this person like? What's their personality like? What don't they like? Like, it's literally fine to be boring. I am okay with being by myself. So make sure you check out, I think it was episode 3, being alone and actually being okay with it. If you need any extra help with, you know, things like that, you are not boring. It's the people around you that make it seem like you're boring. So I suggest finding new people to hang out with, because if they make it seem like you're boring, then they just don't understand you. And that's okay. Embrace that boringness. It is okay to be studying all day. If people make it seem like you're boring just for studying all day or not wanting to go out every weekend, you are okay. Because I promise you, when you look back on like things like that, you're gonna be saying like, okay, yeah, I'm glad I didn't go out that weekend, or I'm glad I studied for this test while they're out there doing God knows what. And I think I'm gonna make this a new thing in my podcast, but just looking up things on Urban Dictionary to give you guys a definite meaning of what I mean. So Urban Dictionary, what does boring mean? And we know what boring means, but like sometimes we don't look at the definition of these terms enough. So boring is not amusing or agonizing. Like being a Latin teacher and your voice is just like very bland with no emotion. But in this case, boring is more so just a neutral personality. And you know what? It did make me feel bad at one point to be like, yeah, maybe I am boring and maybe that's why people aren't talking to me. But that's literally not true. And if you have the same mindset as that, then let me know. I'm literally just an average person living an average life. And it's literally fine to just keep it that way. You don't have to do these big extravagant things to make it seem like you're doing something big. And it's like you're caring what other people think and you're caring about their opinions. And I'm actually going to redo an episode on that. I believe I did not care what people think as the first episode, but I felt like I didn't really go into depth like that. It was my first episode and I wasn't getting into the flow of things. So I'm definitely going to recreate something like that. So I don't have too much to say about this topic of being boring. I try to come up with things to say, but it's kind of hard to not really come up with anything. It's literally straightforward. It's very direct topic. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you liked it, make sure to follow, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, and it really helps me out, so I appreciate that if you do that. Leave comments. I am open to just messaging, DMing you back. You can check out the Pity Party Podcast Instagram and TikTok, at pityparty.podcast, and my personal Instagram and TikTok, which is at xoxo.jojo. Everything's all in the description. Everything's all in there, so make sure you check that out. And my assignment for you for this episode is to remain who you are and not change it for anybody else. If you think you're living the boring life and you think others think you're boring, who cares what they think? Who cares what they think? Just be you. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys catch me next week in episode 12. Bye.